Hello guys, welcome back to the BC room. Got an exciting spider today. Now this is one we had, maybe 4 years ago. Unfortunately she passed after a while. We did try and pair her, but she didn't take. And every time we've had one since, it's turned out to be a male. So we've been about bad luck with him. And it is in fact the Orphaneus dichromata, which many of you will know as the New Guinea Black Fury. Now this spider has got a massive reputation for being an absolutely handful of a spider. Now they're an old world fossorial come terrestrial spider, and we have got to attempt to get it out of this box here, which is what it's living in currently, and get it into this enclosure here. Now we're going to do quite a simple setup, because look at this. What an amazing, an absolutely amazing piece of wood this is. It's covered in moss. It's got this lovely star moss on it, which we have struggled a little bit in the past keeping this stuff going, but I'm hoping we can keep this damp enough, because this spider likes a nice sort of damp substrate and a nice humid environment. Look at all of this. You couldn't buy this in the shop. This is just outrageously amazing. I do love it.
You love it as much as you do spiders, don't you, babe?
Almost, yeah. Yeah. I get quite excited when you get a half decent piece of material like this. This is absolutely fabulous. Look at it. I mean, that is just going to make such a centerpiece. So what we're going to do, we are going to try and enhance this and keep it so that this is the center point of our enclosure, which means our enclosure is going to be a very, very simple, easy build. A lovely, simple, easy build. Now, the good thing about the Black Fury is they do, in actual fact, spend a fair amount of their time out and about. So we should get to see plenty of it. I'm hoping anyway. So what we're going to do now, this is a 30 by 30 by 30 Komodo, and this is going to be ample big enough for this spider. It's going to look an absolute treat. So actually what I need to do, we need to just check this and make sure it fits first. I'm getting all excited about my lump of wood and it might not even fit. Right, here we go. That fits. That fits. So I'm thinking we leave it like that. And as you can see in the bottom here, it's already got like these parts of these roots which hold it up above the ground. So hopefully she'll burrow down and use them. It also gives our thing a little bit high, but as you can see here, that's sticking out. So we're going to need to address that. So what we're going to do, we are not going to take any chances, because I don't want to ruin this piece of wood. We're going to put the lid back on. Right, we can see there now, that's where it is. So we're going to get our pencil, and we are literally going to just draw a line on there, like that. So we can see now that's the height of our piece of wood. So what we need to do now is we need to cut that off. So we can take this out. Just be very careful with it. I don't want to break it. Such a lovely bit of wood. Right, get this saw. So we can get our saw, and we're going to now attempt to cut this off without breaking it. So we're going to cut it off so that it's just a tiny bit lower than the actual roof. There we go. Hopefully that'll do the job. I'm going to plonk that back in. God, such an amazing piece. Look at that. We'll try our roof, our lid. Oh, look at that. Perfect. So when we look through the front now, that will go all the way to the top. And because it's actually right on the top of the framework there, it's not going to cause us any trouble with the lid, but it means we don't see that saw mark. So it still looks really, really natural, which was the main sort of thing. We want to try and maintain that natural look. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take it out again, and we're going to throw some soil in this corner, and then we are going to fill in around it. So we're going to put this in here. It's always worth, when you bring stuff in from, you know, that you've collected, it's always worth playing around a little bit and getting it just sort of right. And literally put that in there. You don't want too much down the front, because if you remember, it's sort of like almost touched the floor at the front. So I'm going to get that in there like that. Yeah, see, it's a little bit too much. There we go. Just make sure our lid goes in. No, you see, look at that. Right, okay. Wonder where they are. It might have been easier if I'd actually left it empty and then filled it up. Put the bit of wood in first. Alright, I do believe we should be down on almost floor by now. God, would you believe it? Right. Would you believe it? We'll go back to square one. We'll empty that out. Right. It's worth getting this right, because the end result is going to look absolutely lovely.
Don't you get mud on the moss?
Try not to. Try not to. Right, we're back. We're back to working again. Just throw that out of there, because I've literally thrown a bit of stuff in there. Right, so now we're going to fill it up again. And as camera lady said, we're going to try not to get it on the moss, because that is really what makes this piece of wood. So I'm going to fill that in down there. I'm just going to fill it in. As you can see there, we can tuck that in round the back there. She will make her own thing here. All in there. In there. So when you consider we have literally used just one piece of material here for this whole build, and that is all we've needed. So we can come down here, just need to fill in that front piece. So we're hoping that all the burrowing business will go on at the back, and the rest of this will stay good. How's that looking? That looks pretty smart, doesn't it? What a fantastic lump of wood that is. I've had that kicking around the garden now for a little while, and been really, really keen to make use of it. It's such a cool piece. So right, so we're going to just quickly mark off the glass. clean it up a little bit. All right, let's have a quick look. Get that. I think we'll just put a little bit of moss in there. I think we've got our water bowl.
Because she's a digger, wouldn't you wait to put moss in?
Yeah, I'm just wondering that whether we leave it like this and then put it in. Yeah. Now she doesn't need a huge amount of depth. I'm thinking what I might do is I might just put a little bit more in the back. Doesn't need a massive amount, but stick a little bit more just to build this up. Make that look, it will just give a better look by adding a bit more into there, and then we can run it off down the side, you see. Get that in there like that, that's better. And that just gives it a little bit better look. You see what goes on. Right then, so what we're going to do now, we're going to put, I think we'll leave our water bowl out as well. And we're going to wait and see. We're going to let her set herself up, and then we will put our water bowl in, and then we'll add a little bit of moss as and where, depending on where she wants to go. We're going to put some leaves in. Look at this.
Difficult. I'm going to put that in a non-funky bag.
Yeah, I'll keep these in the bag. I like them in the bag because it keeps them sort of dry. So,
Get a few out before.
wow, no, we like a bit of this. So we can literally just add a few bits and pieces. Again, you know, with the leaves, we just collect them up, dry them out, keep them in a bag. You see, that will last many, many builds. We will get so much out of all of that. And this is just all oak leaves and stuff. We literally just go and collect them out. Once they fall off the trees come autumn time, we collect them all up, and then you can lay them out, you know, in a nice warm room somewhere. Let them dry out. Just make sure that they are absolutely perfectly dry, and then you can store them and they're good to go. Right then, so we're going to have our lid over here. Now then, as we said in the beginning, these guys are really, really fast. Now you can see here, you see she's already molted here. This is her molt. Look at that. And if I show you like this on my hand, look at those fangs. Go back and zoom. Those fangs are absolutely awesome. Now we've got lots of little isopods in and amongst this, which have been cleaning up all the debris from this molt. So I think what we'll do is we will drop this molt inside our enclosure, and then that way we can transfer the isopods into the enclosure along with the molt. So we're going to take our water bowl out of here. Now we've got a bit of stuff on the desk here, which isn't ideal. So what we're going to do, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. If you come over here, we've got our catch cup. And what we're going to try and do is poke her out and get to come up into the catch cup. So, do you need something to stand on?
No.
You alright? You can get in there? Yeah? Alright, so what we're going to do, we are going to have a... when they're in a burrow like this, we want to be aiming at stopping her going down and along the bottom of the box. So if we come in from this sort of angle, and we can quite often, once we break through that bit of web, there you go, we can get down to where the front of her is, and that will stop her from coming up.
From coming up?
Well, from going back down. So what we want to do is we want her to come out. Look at that. It's an amazing spider. That is a fabulous spider. Very, very beautiful spider. Now this one is another one that came from my good friend Steve Bass, and he's 99% sure this one is a female. So we are hoping too that it's a female. Now we have to be very, very careful because, as we said, these guys don't mess about. So what we're going to do now is we are going to get our box in. The last thing we want is her leaping out. I'm not going to be able to do this with that there. I was hoping to be able to leave the paintbrush in. But no. So we're going to put our box behind her. Up against. Well, there you go. That's it. She's in. Just watch your fingers.
And her toes.
Fingers and toes. Well, her toes, my fingers. Now, as you can see there, they're not very good at climbing the sides. So we're going to put her down in here. She is going to look amazing in here. That's a girl, you can let go. Whoa! There we go. I'll turn that around. Yep. Now you can see what a stunning spider. Now, as you saw there, the molt is there, so she hasn't long molted, probably the last few days. Unfortunately, she tore up the most important part, which would have showed all her sexual organs. So we're still guessing, but we are really, really hoping that this...
Why are they called a black fury, but they look blue?
Yes, they got that real sort of steely blue, but when the light catches them, they are absolutely almost like ink black. They are absolutely gorgeous. Really, really nice spiders.
So it's bones black.
Now they're not a spider for everyone. See if we can get her to just move away from the glass a little bit. These can be quite difficult to manipulate because they are quite nervy. I'm just going to see if we can't get her to come out. And see, you don't need to run.
Oops.
There we go. We'll try and get a picture of that ourselves. I'll just literally dive in here for a second and get a picture before she disappears.
Yep.
She's actually going to be more hidden away than I was hoping. Yep, she's just dived in. There we go.
You left us with your bum. Oh, devil.
So as we were saying, these guys are from Papua New Guinea. And they're an old world spider. They like a reasonable amount of humidity. So we're looking up around about 60–70% humidity, which equates to just like having a nice damp soil. That is all they require, a damp soil, sort of moist soil. See if I can get her to come out a little bit. Go on. You just move her very, very gently. She's actually very well behaved.
We've got a face now and everything.
That's it. There you go. We can get to see her really nicely now.
You want a picture of that? That's really.
With, let's say it's normally very, very difficult to get photographs of these guys.
Be quick.
That is absolutely beautiful. So, what was we saying? Right, humidity wise, we're looking at around about 60–70% humidity, which equates to a nice moist soil. Now, that doesn't mean wet. You can see that we've managed to play around with this soil, and it has got a lovely high moisture content, but it's not wet to the touch. It doesn't stick to our hands, so it's absolutely perfect. And then when she will burrow down. She'll make a nice burrow somewhere. She'll web the entrance up. She'll use these leaves with that entrance as well, and then that will be her home. So that nice moist soil, we can trickle water down the side of the enclosure, and that will then permeate through to where her living space is, and that will keep her humidity up just where we need it. Now, we don't need to go mega, you know, massive with the depth of soil. She's got around about 5 inches of soil at the back here, so that's more than enough for her to set up home. Bear in mind, everything is provided for her. She doesn't need to be doing much. She's going to have an easy time of it. Now, these guys do like a drop in nighttime temperature, so we can keep it warm in the daytime, and we are looking up in the high 70s really in the daytime. They can go a bit warmer, and then we have a little bit of a drop of a nighttime, and that will keep them really nice and happy. But as you can see, they are a very, very pretty spider. I mean, that copper carapace on there, and with that sort of ink black, well, it's almost like an ink blue on the legs as well. I mean, it's just...
The abdomen's very black, isn't it?
Yeah, the
It's
abdomen...
like the first thing of the legs.
Yeah, they are literally like velvet. They're a very, very interesting spider. Now, I say what puts most people off is the fact that they can be super, super defensive. And they are very, very quick to bite if they are provoked. But as you've seen there, we've managed to catch her up, move her out. We didn't see any threat display from her at all. Now you notice now as she's on the move, she like stops, has a think, and then charges forward. And this is how they work. They're quite erratic in the way that they go about things. And she's coming around the other side there now. So what we will do is once we've finished filming and everything for this video, we will poke in a couple of starter burrows in the back here, and one where she is now. We'll put a little starter burrow down there as well, and this will just give us somewhere to go to start, as it suggests, start making a burrow. So we can do that, and that will help her out a little bit. If we were to put the starter burrows in now, chances are she would have disappeared down one of them, and we wouldn't get the beauty of seeing her.
I think you're shading me.
Am I?
Don't move. You move.
Oh, me? I escaped. My lazy Susan has got a mind of its own, and it's turning on its own. That's very interesting. Yeah, it's doing it all on its own. That's not me. There we go.
She should be called Annabelle, not Susan.
Yeah. So here we go. She's having a little move around again. So now what we will do now, as she's freshly molted, we will be on the lookout for a male. So if anyone has a male of one of these and they're happy to post it, or we will be at Taunton for the bug show in a couple of weeks' time. That's only 2 weeks away, isn't it?
Yep.
2 weeks away at Taunton. So that will be the first of the invert shows for this year, of the actual invert group. Sorry, we had C's a couple of weeks ago in Kent. So yeah, so we will be there, and yeah, if anyone's got a male, we'd love to have him, and we will give these guys a try. So all being well, we can hopefully breed them. So what I'm going to do now, while she's down there, I am literally just going to stick a hole. See how she felt that straight away? She knew what was going on.
You can't see, but you
Literally just making that little starter hole there, and hopefully that is where she will set up her home. I'm hoping so. Right, well, I hope you agree this is an absolutely wonderful spider, and I'm so glad to have one back in the collection. I absolutely loved the one we had before. They really are very, very cool, and hopefully we'll see a fair bit of her, and we can get some footage later on. Many of you have been asking recently about footage for some of our spiders that we've rehoused that are quite heavy webbers, and we have a room tour being planned, and probably be in about a month's time, I should think, and we will cover all of these spiders that we've managed to rehouse, and we can see what they've done and what webbing they've got up to and everything else. So we will be having a recap on many of these heavy webbing spiders. It'd be really, really cool to see them. Right then, well, I hope you enjoyed that. And don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spider. And we'll see you soon, guys.